Julie Chrisley helps Nanny Faye amid health scare just days after pardon. In a turn of events that surprised both fans and critics alike, Julie Chrisley, newly granted a pardon after her high-profile conviction, has stepped back into the public eye, but not in the way many would expect. Just days after regaining her freedom, Julie found herself in a deeply emotional and challenging position, supporting her beloved mother-in-law, Nanny Faye, during a sudden and alarming health scare. What began as a celebration of newfound freedom quickly transformed into a dramatic and heartfelt family moment, reminding everyone that the Chrisleys, despite their fame, face the same trials and fears as any other family. But the timing of this crisis, juxtaposed with Julie's re-emergence into everyday life after a long legal ordeal, makes the story all the more compelling. A new beginning interrupted. Julie Chrisley's release from prison, granted by a recent pardon, was supposed to mark a fresh start. After months of legal battles, emotional breakdowns, and time served behind bars, she was finally stepping back into her role as a wife, mother, and daughter-in-law. Her return to the family home was expected to be a time of healing and reconnection, especially with her children who had endured the turmoil in her absence. However, that new beginning was abruptly interrupted when Nanny Faye, the family's most cherished matriarch and a fan favorite from their reality show Chrisley Knows Best, experienced an unexpected health episode that required immediate attention. Julie, barely adjusted to her own freedom, suddenly had to step into the role of caretaker, a position she hadn't anticipated so soon. A sudden scare. According to family insiders, Nanny Faye began complaining of intense fatigue, dizziness, and chest tightness, symptoms that immediately raised red flags for the family. Given her age and previous health history, including a battle with bladder cancer, the alarm bells couldn't be ignored. Without hesitation, Julie rushed her to a local hospital, prioritizing Nanny's health above everything else, even her own need for emotional recovery. Witnesses noted that Julie appeared focused but visibly shaken as she helped her frail mother-in-law into the emergency room. She was quiet, composed, but her eyes told the whole story, said one observer. There was fear, exhaustion, and love all mixed together. She was clearly holding it together for the sake of the family. The weight of responsibility. For Julie, this wasn't just about stepping in as a helper, it was about reclaiming her place in a family that had gone through so much. The weight of guilt from time missed, coupled with the responsibility of making things right, bore heavily on her. Julie has always prided herself on being the caretaker of the Chrisley household, and this moment only magnified that sense of duty. Despite the emotional toll of her legal battles and time away, Julie's instincts kicked in. She coordinated with doctors, stayed by Nanny Faye's side through testing and monitoring, and kept the rest of the family informed. She even took the lead in calming the younger Chrisley children, assuring them that their great-grandmother would pull through. A familiar face, a different strength. Those familiar with Chrisley Knows Best would recognize Julie as the calm, rational voice amid the chaos often brought by Todd's antics or Nanny Faye's playful mischief. But this time, Julie showcased a different kind of strength, one not for the cameras or the audience, but for family. Gone was the TV-perfect makeup and pristine presentation. In its place was a woman hardened by adversity but softened by love, a woman who had faced federal courtrooms and prison cells, and now stood face-to-face with the mortality of someone she deeply loved. Medical uncertainty. Doctors conducted a series of tests, fearing a possible cardiac event. While initial results were inconclusive, Nanny Faye was admitted for further observation. Julie refused to leave her side. For hours that turned into days, she remained at the hospital, resting only in short intervals, constantly asking questions, and advocating for the best care possible. Her presence made a significant difference, not just in the medical attention Nanny received but in the emotional stability of the situation. Family members, including Savannah and Chase Chrisley, arrived later, but it was clear that Julie was the backbone of the operation. An emotional reunion. One poignant moment that tugged at heartstrings came when Nanny Faye, groggy but awake, reportedly reached for Julie's hand and whispered, "You came back to me." That brief exchange encapsulated the emotional undercurrent of the entire ordeal. Julie's return wasn't just physical, it was spiritual, maternal, and deeply needed. This was not a woman re-entering the world solely for redemption in the public eye. This was someone returning to fulfill the promises of love, family, and loyalty, the same values she had once preached on national television but now lived out in the rawest of forms. Family tensions and healing. Interestingly, the health scare also served as an unexpected catalyst for deeper healing within the fractured Chrisley family. Julie and Todd's absence due to incarceration had created ripples of tension and responsibility shifts, especially among their children. But seeing their mother return in full force, not in defense of herself, but in defense of their grandmother's health, helped thaw some of the emotional distance that had crept in. Savannah, who had taken on a maternal role during Julie's imprisonment, expressed visible relief and gratitude. Chase, known for his carefree attitude, showed a rare moment of emotional vulnerability, hugging his mom tightly as they waited for updates from doctors. The Todd Chrisley factor. While Julie stood at the center of this unfolding crisis, questions naturally arose about Todd's reaction. Still incarcerated, he was informed about Nanny Faye's condition through his legal team. Though unable to be physically present, sources say he made multiple calls to hospital administrators, advocating for his mother's care. Julie and Todd reportedly spoke during one of his allowed calls. Their conversation, though private, was said to be filled with emotion, love, and shared concern. Despite the challenges that led to their legal downfall, this moment reaffirmed their bond, not just as partners in crime, but as partners in life and family. A temporary setback or a warning sign? As days passed, Nanny Faye's condition began to stabilize, and doctors ruled out a heart attack, though they continued to monitor for arrhythmia and stress-induced complications. Julie helped arrange for home health assistance and began organizing a more structured care plan for Nanny's return home. Though the immediate scare had passed, the experience left the family shaken. It was a reminder of time lost and the unpredictability of life. For Julie, it emphasized that every moment counts, and she was determined not to waste a second of her second chance. A rebuilding journey. Julie's decision to throw herself into caregiving so soon after her release wasn't without consequences. Friends close to her have expressed concern about burnout. She has yet to fully process her own trauma from imprisonment, and diving headfirst into a family crisis may delay her emotional recovery.